Welcome everyone to my channel. I am Firehawk the Masked Shinobi, and today we're going to be talking about Hunter x Hunter. We're going to continue. Obviously, I love Hunter x Hunter. It was my first anime that I really fell in love with. Obviously, why I got into Hunter x Hunter was because of the LGBT um, aspects of Hunter x Hunter. Alaka being transgender and myself being transgender, it was very something I can relate to. I was really excited about seeing a trans character. I looked up how the top trans characters in animes, and usually Alaka was either number one or number two. If she got beat out, she got beat out by Lily from Zombieland Saga, which is obviously a great character. I love Lily as well. But anyways, so I really enjoy Hunter x Hunter, and I'm saddened that the stories may not get finished. We know that there's an ending that's been released for that kind of tells us some stuff, but it doesn't answer all our questions. There's so many unanswered questions. So me as a fan, I am taking it upon myself to finish the stories how I would like to see them finished. Some of you also might have some other opinions on how you think they should be finished, but I love all these characters, and obviously now today we're gonna be talking about Leorio. We already finished Hisoka's story, which I'm proud of how I think Hisoka's stories ended, and so I'm hoping that I'll be just as proud of how I present and let people know how I think Leorio's story should end. Leorio is definitely an interesting character, and when it comes to Hunter x Hunter, he looks older than everyone else. He wears a suit and carries a briefcase all the time, so he's all business all the time. So he does look older, even though he is not that much older than they are. He's a teenager, and he does demonstrate that later on in the facility, that you can tell that he's a teenager and how he acts. Leorio is maybe not everyone's favorite character because he's not really a battle character. He has his own take and perspective on what he's trying to accomplish. He has very admirable goals. He wants to become a doctor so he can help people, and he wanted to become a hunter so he can get that financial money that he needs to help people and take the burden off of them. He wants first to pay for med school and all his medical training, but also to be able to provide stuff for people and be able to take care of people for free and not have them have the burden, or because of his sad story where he lost a friend who because they couldn't get treatment. So he wants to help them and take care of them, and all of us can relate to that. I guarantee you there's someone in your life that has some kind of medical issues that maybe they've had a hard time paying for it financially. Some countries have actual Medicare, or health insurance for people where they don't have to pay for all those medical things, obviously. But if you live in a country where it doesn't, medical bills can be a very, burdensome thing. And sometimes you can't get treatment, and that's kind of definitely very American. You can't always get treatment unless you have insurance or money. They don't always want to treat you. So, anyway, Leorio has some very great admirations and some really great goals. So you can't help but respect him. He's obviously a different character when it comes to different things. He can be kind of a hothead when it comes to things. And so he's not always reserved. He can take things very personally and get very hot-headed. He not always think about things before he does them. But he's definitely not very... I wouldn't say he was a strong warrior, a strong strategist when it comes to things. I'm not saying he's dumb or anything, but he has knowledge when it comes to other things, medical things, and that's what he's been working on, wanting to be a healer, not a fighter. And so I think that's admirable, and I think that his character is definitely interesting to see all the way from the beginning. I think it's interesting to see and see what he turns into. So, for all of you that maybe have not read the mangas, we see that Leorio becomes a Zodiac. And so I see here, I'm showing a picture here of all the Zodiacs, including the two they replaced. These two down here at the bottom, Gene and Preston or whatever. He's the rat and boar. They represent the rat and boar. Gene was boar. And the other guy, Preston, was the rat. So these two characters are going to get replaced. So they recruit because of everything. He was second place, almost won chairman. Leorio almost won. Even though he really didn't want it, he just wanted to, but he felt like it could also help him with his goals. So he was like, okay, I'll do it. So he gets recruited by the Zodiacs to replace Gene, to replace Gon's father, who left the Zodiacs. And so there was an opening for the boar. And so they recruit Leorio. And Leorio says that he would come if they have another opening, he would come and be a part of it only if it can help with his medical training. Because that's basically how they talked him into it, was that it could help with his medical training. And if they that they have another spot, he says you have another spot open as well, right? Because Preston's gone now too. He says that spot needs to go to Karateka. And so those two guys become part of the Zodiacs, which obviously the Zodiacs are the prestige of the Hunters Association. Other than being chairman, the top thing to be in the Hunter Association is a Zodiac. So it's definitely a big deal. It's kind of like the criminal organization of being part of some of the other organizations, like the Phantom Troop, or being part of the Zodiac family. Those things are prestigious. Of course, not Zodiac family, Zoldyck. Can't even speak. Sorry, the Zoldyck family. But the Zodiac family, like, you're born into it. You're not. You don't really join in. So, Phantom Troop you can join, but there's only 13 spots, so. But these two guys get replaced, and obviously Leorio becomes Boar. I thought this was funny. The Boar brothers, bringing on Mr. Pretty Face himself with Leorio. So I just thought it was funny. The Boar brothers, but we see him become a Zodiac, and that's what we see in the manga. If you have not read the mangas, you should read it. Especially if you're a Hunter x Hunter fan, they're definitely worth reading. They're definitely exciting. I love Hunter x Hunter very, very much, so I guess maybe I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Hunter x Hunter, because I do love it very, very much. But we also see him training to be a doctor on the ship. In the Dark Continent, they're on the Black Whale ship, going to the Dark Continent, and while he's on that ship, he is training under Cheeto to be more, training more medically. And so we see that they're working close together, and he's getting his medical training on the ship. So we do see that he only would do this as long as he still tries to reach his goal. He's definitely goal oriented, and ultimately that's where he's trying to get to. He wants to help people. He wants to be a doctor, and I think that's very admirable. I think that's really a good thing to want, and I respect Leorio's resolve and his being goal oriented and really pushing for that. Yes, there are things that are wrong with Leorio as well. Like, he's a little hot headed and can lose his temper at times, but you know, I think that will come with time as he grows and becomes better as a person. Now this is something that most people want to talk about is the relationships in Hunter x Hunter, which a lot of times I like I said, I've already loved the LGBT notes in this series, and I think I also like that a lot of the people that are fans want to see these people get together. Like they want to see Leorio with Karoptica, they want to see going with Killua. You know, they want to see that. Um, but unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. As much as obviously I don't, it doesn't bother me, obviously, to see multiple people together. I am part of the LGBT community, so I very much support it, very, very much. And yeah, would it be cool for them to be together? Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad. I don't think it would be bad, but I don't think that's their relationship. As much as people want to see that in a relationship, I don't think that's a relationship. I think I see a really great, strong friendship where they have strong feelings for each other and care about each other very much. I think they're best friend. They have a best friend relationship. And people are like, well, they argue like an old married couple, but I see that as like almost when you become siblings with someone, you can have those arguments too because they're siblings. But I think a lot of people like this because they're opposites, and opposites attract and stuff like that. I just think they're really good friends because, and the reason why I say this is Leorio has shown that, I mean, not that Leorio could be bi, but Leorio has shown that he's very much into women in the series because of her. Early on in the series, we see they have to get through the tower as in the Hunter x Hunter or association. They have so much time to clear the tower, and they get stopped, and they have to get so many points. They have to get so many wins before they can go. If they lose, they have to forfeit, time or whatever it may be. And on Leorio's turn, he's up against her, and it was a series of questions and a series of bets. And the last bet, obviously, is if she is if she is a girl or a guy. And Leorio goes, "How am I going to know? How am I going to find out?" She goes, "Obviously, you get to uh, you know, do a exhaustive search and feel whatever you want to feel, until you're satisfied with what the answer is. To corroborate the answer or whatever." And so we saw that he was very into that, obviously. And this is the part where I say he shows that he was a teenage boy, because most teenage boys think about one thing and one thing only, if that's what they're attracted to. Obviously, I think that you don't make a choice whether you're straight, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being straight either. Some people like to look down on that, and they'll like to say mean things to people that are straight, call them breeders or whatever. I don't think that that's a bad thing. You are, what you're born. If you're born, like, your brain obviously releases a chemical to tell you that you're attracted to someone. So that's, it's not a choice. It's just something scientifically in your body that you're attracted to someone. And so I don't think that you can choose to be straight as the same way that you can't really choose to be gay or bisexual or pan or whatever it may be. I think those things are in you, and that's just who you are. So no downplay to someone who is straight. So just saying that in this part of this story, because like I said, so many people want to act like it's a bad thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing. But I think Leorio is very much a straight guy, and very much, because we know that after this happened, he got to do what he wanted to do, and he got to prove that she was a girl, and he was very much in heaven. You see the angel scene. This is right after that scene showing him as an angel because he very much enjoyed proving that she was indeed a female. So I think that verifies to me that, like I said, that shows how much of a teenage boy he kind of is in this moment. You know, he looks like a grown man, but I think that he's very much straight. So just saying that from what he demonstrates. Not that it would be wrong to have Leorio and Kroptka together or Gon and Killua together. I just don't think that there's that many couples in this, and I think the creator feels that way as well because when he released the ending that he's released, he had mentioned that the other characters have children or grandchildren. So, but it lets us know that they all have children of their own. So, not that you can't have children with, have children with a relationship or whatever, but it makes it sound like they all each have their own children. Not Leorio and Kroptka have their same children. It sounds like they all each have their own children. So, just saying that, as much as somebody might want to see them shipped, I don't think that's who Leorio ends up with. Sorry to everyone that wants to see that. I do think that Leorio definitely becomes Dr. Leorio, and I think he works really hard, and I think he gets to reach his goal. I think he'll still be part of the Hunters Association very much so, because I don't think that he'll end up being chairman or anything like that. I think he'll be definitely a part of it, of the organization. But I think he reaches his goal to become a doctor, and I think that he reaches that and wants to help people out greatly. And I think he reaches his goal to help people and has his own free clinic, so to say, where people can come and get treatment. And that's why he still becomes part of the Hunter Association because he's still going to need money. And I think other people will help him out as well financially too. I think those in the Hunter organization will definitely help because he'll get other people involved. He'll have his friends involved. I think Gon, Killua, and Kroptka will all will help him along with his goal. So definitely think he becomes a doctor. And I think personally, this is my opinion and how I think the story would end for Leorio is that I think he ends up with Cheetle. And the reason why I say that is workplace relationships are the most common because when you start working with someone for a long period of time, you get to really know that person. You get really close. And so it's not unheard of a older woman with a younger guy, obviously. I think that he will become really into her because that's his teacher. And I think she'll be in him. And I think that's who Leorio ends up with. And I think they have children. And I think that at that time when they start having children in a family, I think that's when Cheeto kind of steps out of the chairman role. I don't think she'll want to be in that role forever. I think her opinions will change. But now, at his free clinic, he also has another doctor. It's just not him. It's not just him. It's also Cheeto as well. So I think that's how his story ends. I think they obviously have kids as well. So I think that's who he ends up marrying. So let me know. Let me know what you think of Leorio's finished story and where you think his story ends. I think he reaches his goal. I think that's the greatest thing in an anime is for someone to reach their goal and maybe find what they were looking for something else along the way. I think he obviously finds a relationship with Cheeto. He finds a great friendship. I think Kroptka will always be his best friend. And I think that's not going to change. Even though they'll be in other relationships, I think their kids will obviously be very close as well. And that they'll be definitely in each other's lives for a long time to come. But this is how I think his story ends. Let me know what you think, and join me next time right here.